What's up? What's up? Hope everybody can hear me pretty good. What's going on, everybody? Not long. I don't want it to be long today. I want to be in and out. So let's see if we can do something. What's up? What's up? What's up? Thanks everybody for joining. I hope you guys enjoyed last week's video. That one was cool. Okay. Well, I'll get started talking until people get coming in here. So the reason I was making this video today is because, like, as I was on Instagram and I've been seeing a lot of fitness people, just even random fitness people, but sometimes you can tell people are doing a lot of excess stuff that isn't even related to health and fitness, just doing a whole bunch of giant acts, like feats of strength, just to show off how strong they are, just to show how much muscle they got, just to show off. And it's funny because sometimes that stuff can get hyped. I remember back in like 2014 when people were showing off online and showing what they could do, and later on it turned into everybody doing CrossFit. You know what I'm saying? At least there was a thing for it. But maybe even before that, might have been like 2012 that I'm thinking about. But either way, like now it's running into a lot of situations where people are doing stuff just to get seen. And when you start doing stuff just to get seen, of course you start getting seen, but then the ideas float back around and people like me will start getting questions. Hey, do you think it's good to do this? Do you think it's good to do that? Do you think this is right? And a lot of that stuff is, crazy stuff where people are just doing it just to show off. I honestly don't think a lot of those guys who do certain things even work out like that on a consistent basis. I think they just kind of do that stuff pretty much just to get their follows and likes up. Fix this. All right, back. All right, so let's get started. Now, today's video is called Stop Doing Too Much. Really, stop doing too much overthinking. And we talked about this before, about the overthinking thing and, not getting overwhelmed in the gym and not doing too many things. But the reason I'm making this video to follow up about it today is just to make sure that everybody knows that, it doesn't take a lot. It doesn't take a lot to get in great shape, and you don't need to overwhelm yourself with too much information or too many exercises or too much dieting or too many thoughts of how many reps and sets and, pounds and this and that's not. It's not that complicated. And so I'm going to try to narrow some things down today and give you guys some exercise, not just exercise, but different thoughts on how to approach your workouts so that it's not, so complicated for you where you're confused about if you're doing it right or wrong or you're going to make progress or not, but I do know that it can get overwhelming. So, I'm going to just let you know where you're pushing it at. So like I said, social media can be like a distraction because everybody is doing something different. And so if you follow one person and they might try something different, now you want to try that thing. Or they might do something else, now you want to try that thing. And a lot of times when people post stuff or you find new workouts and stuff like that, that doesn't necessarily mean that that particular person built their physique off of that, nor does it mean that they're doing it consistently currently. It might just be something that they're throwing out like, hey, today I did, I bench pressed with X, Y, and Z today. And it's like, okay, cool. You got a snapshot of what that person just did, but that doesn't mean that they've built this physique doing that particular crazy thing all the time. You know what I'm saying? It's not like they've been doing that for 5, 6, 7 years and they were doing that. And now it's just like, another day in the office. It's more like, oh, look, let me go try something random and see if I can put my body to the test. But a lot of times, the viewers will take that and run with it and then think that, that's the way you're supposed to proceed with working out. And that's not actually, that's not correct. So you got to be very cautious of what you're listening to and what you're taking in, right? And who you're trusting. because a lot of it is a distraction from the main goal, which is just to keep everything simple and do what works for your body, and that's really all it boils down to. All right. The second thing is that a lot of stuff is for attention and sales. It isn't necessarily meant to work for your physique. So if you're seeing people do crazy stuff and they're balancing and it's like, oh, that looks like a cool exercise. This looks like a cool exercise. A lot of that stuff is cool looking, but it really does nothing for your body. Sometimes even certain exercises could cause more damage. Like they look fly. I get it. Like I see people online working out and I'm like, oh, that looks kind of cool. Like I like the way they did that, or I like how they're doing this, or whatever. And I think I was talking to you guys maybe last week or the week before in a video. We were talking about doing behind the neck presses and stuff like that, which is one of those things where, yeah, it looks cool to be lifting on that weight, but you can really, and you might not even need that much weight. Oh, is my thing reconnecting? Check. Do I have service? Can y'all hear me good? Hopefully my internet went out for a second. Good. Yeah, so anyway, so that's one thing to keep in mind. All right. Now, the next thing is your workout should feel organic, but they need to be like routine and mundane still, because you don't want your workouts to fit your personality type. And what I mean by that is sometimes you may have a personality where you need to be doing a lot of stuff. I need to be over here, and I got to run to, and I got to do this, and I got to do that. And then when you get into the gym, you're like that in the gym. I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do this, I got to do that. And then you really neglect the details and what's really necessary, and you don't slow down and just do the simple stuff. You might try to, you might have a cluttered life outside of the gym, and then you go into the gym and then have a cluttered workout experience where it might not have even been beneficial to you. Yeah, you spent time in there. Yeah, you were in there for an hour and a half or doing whatever, but were you really doing anything that was going to actually help you look better tomorrow or the next day or the next day? And a lot of times it's not. So you got to think about that too. Like, are you just in the gym doing stuff because, the type of person you are, I need to work out like this in order to say I worked out today? Or are you actually working out for the benefit of your body? You know what I'm saying? So like, keep that in mind too. I know sometimes we can get caught up in that and be just doing stuff that we feel is right, or we feel like we should be doing, or stuff that you may not even realize that it's negative towards your physical development because you're doing too many different things. And maybe you worked out on your shoulders last week and did one exercise, and you may need to do that same exercise again this week. But since you maybe forgot about it, or maybe you can't, maybe you just don't want to do it this time, so you're jumping around and doing other stuff, that could throw off the process, because you may have needed to do that same particular workout for the next week, the week after that, week after that, week after that, week after that, just in order to start seeing the results. But instead, you switched up, and every week you're doing something different. Every week you're working a different part of the muscle, never working the part of the muscle that needs to get the mean beat down and the development. So one week you're doing something for this, next week you're doing something for here, next week you're doing something back here, next week you're doing something up here, next week you're doing something over here, and next week you're up here. So did it really ever get hit? You see what I mean? And so that's just a small example, but keep that in mind when you're working out. Like, are you really doing the thing that's beating down the particular muscle that needs to get hit? And are you doing it week after week after week? Are you juggling around and trying to manage a bunch of different exercises, a bunch of different cardio, and one thing for detail, one thing for power, one thing for strength, one thing for muscle, one thing for flexibility? Like, are you in there being that guy, right? So, and like I said, sometimes you can think that that's the right way to work out, but it's really, it really may not be the right way to work out. So keep that in mind. Okay. All right. Now the next thing is keep everything simple. No need for too many exercises. All right. There's no need to do too many different things. You can do 1 or 2 exercises and be in and out of the gym. You don't need to do 5, 10, 15 exercises when you're in the gym. Like three is enough. 4 is enough. You know what I'm saying? For you to do 4 exercises and then go home, that's fine. Like, we're good with that. You don't have to get too, too caught up in doing too many different things and thinking that you got to be in there all day long. And, if your muscle has different areas on it, just make sure you tag all the angles. But there's no need to, do a workout or an exercise that hit one part of that angle and then do the same workout that hit the same part of that angle again, then do the same workout that hit the same part of that angle again. There's no need to do that. You can pick one exercise for your for flat chest, one exercise for incline, one exercise for decline, and then you can be out of there. You know what I'm saying? Or you can do like a cable fly and then use all cable flies and then do an incline and a decline and be out of there. So you keep that in mind though when you're thinking about working out. You don't necessarily have to do too many different things in order to, hit that same body part. Okay? Now, the last thing is you may not be able to see results because of other things. It may not necessarily be that you're not seeing your results in your body because you're not necessarily doing what you need to do in a gym. You may not see the results because of the way you may be eating or not eating, or because of your how inconsistent you are, or because it could be your sleep schedule. It could be anything that can mess you up for the way you're not seeing results. But don't let it be that your workouts are compromised because you're juggling too much and doing too many different things that don't even benefit your body ultimately. Like that's not the way. So hopefully, you're boiling it all down and some of the stuff is getting through to y'all to where you feel a little bit better about working out and not so like, oh, what am I supposed to be doing? Am I doing this now? Are we doing this now? Are we doing this now? No, stick to the plan. It's all bodybuilding. We're still all developing your physique into the best physique that you are physically capable of, and try to zone out and be tunnel vision on your goal, and don't pick up too many different ideas from other people along the way because it'll distract you from getting to your goal. I've seen a lot of guys to this day that are still working out, still have never seen their great physique, but have never stuck to one set plan. And a lot of times you'll look online and people will say, or you'll listen to feedback, people say, how do you become successful? Well, it's the same thing with your body. Like you got to do the same thing over and over and over again. You can't just be trying new stuff all the time. Sometimes you got to do one thing, and when it sticks, do it and keep on doing it. And when you see somebody doing something else, you can just take note of them and say, oh, okay, that's cute, but stay on your own path. You don't necessarily need to jump off your path and do what they're doing and add that to your new thing. You know what I'm saying? Because you may have really just been fine, and maybe that's just a small picture of what their overall workout. If you don't understand what I'm saying when I mean that, sometimes you guys go on Instagram and you'll see a dude who's like great shape. He's doing stuff like squats and presses and cleans and like all these different like aerobic type exercises. But he's like, dang, this dude's doing all that aerobic stuff, but he looks good. Like he up down there doing he's like in his plank position and doing high knees and running stuff, and got great abs, great shoulders, back, all this stuff. But he's doing all this jumping around and Richard Simmons type stuff. And it's like this swole dude is doing all that too. And a lot of times those dudes aren't doing that stuff also. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't do those things to build that physique. Like they probably did boring, mundane bodybuilding stuff. But then when they go back to record things, they're posting all that crazy stuff online to show off, to be like, oh, here's how good my physique looks. Now you do 5 sets of this. But 5 sets of that, whatever they're doing, probably didn't even get them that physique. So it's kind of misleading when you look at it like that. And that's what I'm saying. Like sometimes you got to do stuff that's sustainable, and all that hopping around and jumping around and trying different stuff. Like if you can't do your same workout in different gyms, and you go to a different gym and you can do your same type of workout to another gym, you can do your same type of workout for the most part, then you might be off. You feel me? You might be off. You might need to reconsider how your workouts are, and so that's something to think about. All right, let me get to these comments. Chris Mitzvin, you said, how many sets per workout per body part? You can either do, you can do a combination of things. Just depends on if you're doing body parts that need light weights or if you're doing body parts that need heavy weights. Shoulders need a lot of reps. So shoulders, you may do 100 reps. Your chest, you may only do, and I mean 100 reps. I mean, you could break it down however you want to. If you want to do 10 sets of 10, you want to do, sets of 20s, 5 sets of 20s, 4 sets of 25. That's for shoulders. Triceps like that too. Hamstrings like that too. Abs like that too. But when you start getting like biceps, you can probably do that too with biceps. But when you're getting into doing like back, chest, even calves maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like forearms or something like that. those things you can do your 4 sets of 15 and your 4 sets of 12s and stuff like that for the heavy stuff. When you start to get real heavy, that's when you don't do too much. But you want to make sure that those small body parts, they don't need too much weight. Like even your calves, you don't need to do a lot of weight to get your calves to grow. You can do reps and they'll grow like that. Same thing with hamstrings. Quads, ironically, you may be that type of person like me where your quads grow under reps versus growing under heavy weight. Like if I do 4 sets of 15 or something like that, or even if I go super heavy and I max out and I'm doing sets of 10s or 8s and whatever like that, I never feel in my legs later. I don't know about y'all, I never feel in my legs. But if I'm doing a lot of reps, 20s, reps of 25s on the squats, on the leg press, something like that, or 20s on the hamstring, leg curls, something like that, I'm feeling it. So you got to find what works good for your body for one, but then keep in mind that different body parts need different styles of working out in order to make it develop. Because you can't just go in there and doing like you can use the equipment in the gym, but you use it the right way, like I said. So just keep in mind some stuff needs different type of attention. All right. And let's see what you guys got. Today you did chest, and you did 5 sets of floor presses, 5 sets of kneeling landmine press for upper chest, and 5 sets of dips, followed by French press for triceps and dumbbell kickbacks. No, that's okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. Hopefully you feel sore. I mean, you'll know tomorrow if you feel good about it, or if you feel like it wasn't enough. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what your weights were like. I don't know what your were you moving slow, were you breathing correctly, were you make sure you were focused on all your reps and stuff like that, were you giving it very good attention? That's just one of the things that goes into it. Crypto Keeper, you say any advice on any body weight exercises, calisthenics and such? Yeah, body weight exercises, you got to start with pull-ups. And you also have to make sure that along y'all's journey too, just like this is something to keep in mind, even for myself. Hopefully I can look back on this like 10 years from now. I'm like, hey, B, remember you said that? Along your journey, always try to incorporate something with body weight, whether it be like some type of exercise, where it's pull-ups and push-ups and dips or something like that in your workouts, or whether it just be something like you're doing a bunch of, like you're playing a sport, you know what I'm saying? Or rolling around on the floor, running in the park. Like try to always put your body to the test also, in addition to the gym, because what happens is you'll get stiff, you know what I'm saying? And then when it's time to actually do something, you'll be all locked up, and maybe you were built good for just pressing and just squatting and certain things, but your body's mechanics still have to be kind of fluid. And so it's always good. Like for me, if I'm not playing a sport, or if I don't get a chance to go do something physical, then what I make sure to do is I'll always do my calisthenics when it's time to go to the gym. And I'll make sure I do my pull-ups and my dips and my body weight and my push-ups in the house, or my perfect push-ups, something like that. So make sure you're doing those things to incorporate so that your body can that free motion versus that fixed motion in the gym when you're on a bench or something like that, so keep that in mind too. Calisthenics always need to be mixed in there somewhere, even if it's like 1 week on, 1 week off, or you just squeezing it in somewhere. Like even the other day, I didn't do my legs last week in the gym, but I did 200 sissy squats on my sissy squat machine. And so that was my leg day. You know what I mean? And my lower back is hurting. Lower back is on fire. All the way down to my butt and my hamstrings. I don't know if it's one of those things where when you don't work certain muscles in a long time, and it's like those little. That's what happens when you do body weight. Like if you do a fixed machine, you'll only feel the body parts, like you'll only feel sore in those particular fixed areas. But when you do free motion stuff or like body weight stuff, calisthenics, you'll feel it in areas where it was like, I didn't even know I had something over there, or I didn't know that was a muscle, or you know what I'm saying? You'll find little small key features on your body, and those areas are where you'll get sore at, and those are things that you can't really reach when you're doing weighted stuff just in the gym. And so like for my physique, the reason why I carry so much detail, or I talk about so much detail, is because I do exercises that allow me to bring in body weight stuff and regular fixed weighted equipment stuff. So that way I have a natural looking body weight look, but bigger because I added weights you know what I'm saying, to the natural balance of my physique. So that's pretty much all it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then even when you fall off, you'll never really fall off. Like you'll never have that fluff look like, oh, I got no balance, or I'm big up top and my legs are little, or my legs are big and my up top is little, or I got a big, back and a flat chest, or a big chest and a flat back. You know what I'm saying? So once you do the body weight stuff, you'll kind of have an overall balance all the time. Just, you know what I'm saying? You'll stay fluid forever. And that's one of those timeless looking physiques where like at any moment you could take your shirt off and everybody be like, oh, what do you do for a living? You know what I'm saying? So keep that in mind. All right. You can do it, and you can do those things until you're 50, 60, 70 years old. It's still old men in the parks now with their work gloves on, getting up there, doing their pull-ups. And I'm sure that's how I'll be when I get older, walking to the park or riding my bike to the park in the morning and doing my pull-ups to start the day off while the sun is rising. You know what I'm saying? And then walking back to the house or ride my bike back to the house or something like that, So keep that in mind, y'all. And hopefully you guys learn things. Hopefully you're able to use some of the stuff, my tactics. I always appreciate when you give me comments and say, hey, I looked at one of your old videos years ago and that really worked. Or I remember this, you said this one time and this was excellent. I've been using it to this day. That's what I want. You know what I'm saying? If I can only affect a couple people, then that's wonderful. And I feel like I did my job. So anyway, hope you guys have a wonderful evening. I'm gonna go chill. I got some food cooking, and I will see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.